Hello, it's Tristan here from ZebraInvest, and if you're watching this video, the chances are you're one of the lucky few that's been sent out one of our investor packs. Granted, it's not quite as thick as this one, but it's going to run through a few little bits of information all about ZebraInvest, what we've done over the last, I think about 3.5 years, and what we've achieved. So when you jump in, the first document that you're going to have is a little bit all about us, who we are and what we do, and how we can possibly work with investors or people like yourself. So recently we've been running investor days, showing people around the projects that we're up to, anything from refurbishing and flipping retirement flats through to creating beautiful, stunning HMOs that people really want to live in and to call home, all the way up to converting offices into 6-bedroom student flats. So there's quite a different variety of what's been going on. And then we've also got a few people who've been working with us doing a lend and learn program. So the idea being that if they'd like to learn about how to invest in property and get out and actually have the skills to be able to analyse a deal, work out how they can fund it, unlock cash that they may not realise they had before, and then get out and actually doing the deals, we've been running through that step by step through the whole process whilst walking around one of our own projects. So you can see actually how this can be implemented, how you can identify and run through a project and see how it's managed and costed. So that's a little bit about that, and then if you want to dig into it, find any more information about us, reviews, see other people that have worked with us. If you jump online and you search Zebra Buyer rather than ZebraInvest, you'll find reviews on Trustpilot and on Google about the company. And you're probably going to wonder, why are they Zebra Buyer rather than ZebraInvest? Well, part of the side of the business is that we want to attract people in to be able to sell properties to us. So we have a web page called Zebra Buyer, and that literally targets people who are possibly motivated to sell or want to sell their property. And by having reviews there, it helps encourage leads and other people to come into the business. But you can see a little bit more about what we've been up to, who we've worked with, and reviews on there as well. Then when you jump in, the next set of pages you're going to find, and we've just got about a property project just over in High Low Road. So it gives you a brief little bit of description and explanation on what we've been up to at the property. And when you look at it, we've given you a little floor plan to demonstrate what we were up to there originally and how it looked at the start off. And it's quite a cool project because if you look at the pictures and run through it, you'll see we actually split one big property into 2 properties. We've got planning permission on the right hand side, which looks like garages from the photo, to turn that into a 4-bedroom chalet bungalow, which is just starting at this moment. We're in about October, November, and we're just starting to do the works on that, and we're going to be putting the roof up and turning it into a really nice family home. And so that just runs through, and you've got the investment pack that explains how it all works, the costings, if you want to jump in the detail and have a look through that. We've got a copy of the old listing, so you can see what the property was up for sale for, what we found and how we found it before we put it online. And then we've got a copy of the planning permission document as well, so you can see the drawings of what we came up with, how we managed to get it through planning permission, and it's got a copy of the architect's details that we used for that as well. Then again, the next bit is it drops in, then we've got a little YPN magazine. So if you don't know, there's something called Your Property Network. And Your Property Network features a whole plethora of different investors who are doing deals all across the country once a month. And they send it out to, I think, probably 10,000 or so different investors across the country. And it's usually doing case studies on interesting projects or stuff that's happened. And with this, they actually got in touch with me as they were looking to do a feature all about using traditional methods of sourcing property versus using digital. And so traditional might be, say, dropping off a leaflet, knocking on people's doors, going through estate agents, that side of it. Whereas digital would be, say, using a database system like Property Data, Property Toolkit, working through to try and find those opportunities. So it's quite a neat article. You can read through that if you want to. And take a look at one of the projects that we did in Southampton, which was 68 South East Road, and then we've also covered 5A High Low, so 5 High Low Road and 5A High Low Road again. And as we go through that, you then come across another project just in Norwich this time, as the business moved from Southampton originally up to Norwich. And there you can see we're looking at a flat called 3 Rumsey Wells Place. 3 Rumsey Wells was a retirement flat, a 2-bedroom retirement flat. It was just a little bit tired. But the problem was when you went into it, it felt like the kind of place where someone had passed away. And it wasn't the vibe or the energy that you wanted about the place if you were looking to move in there. So we completely transformed the place and turned it around. And as you can tell, at the grand old age of 33, I'm not quite 55 yet to be able to move into it. But by getting consent from the freeholder, we're able to go in, purchase the property and absolutely transform it. We bought it for I think it was around about 100, and the numbers are in here, I think it was about 100 and just shy of £130,000. Spent about £13,000 doing it up, and we ended up selling it for £200,000. So that's got all the details in there. What I've also done is I should have included, is a whole load of photos. So you can see before and afters what the property looks like, what it looked like afterwards. And you can also see the prices and the comparables, what other properties were selling for in the area. And that just gives you a real idea of the due diligence and the amount of effort that goes into whenever we look at finding a deal or an opportunity to make sure it's something that we would want to invest in and something that investors like yourself would be comfortable backing us on. So as you go a little bit further, we then go on to 41 Ash Tree Road. And this was a gorgeous project to do, just over in New Cossey, so just outside of Norwich. And it was a really sorry property for itself. It'd been repossessed by the bank, and unfortunately the people who'd lived there had smashed up all the tiles in the bathroom. They'd smeared poo by the looks of things on the wall. They'd written disgusting stuff everywhere. And in the whole garden, they had just absolutely filled it with rubbish. And so it took endless skips to get the place cleared out. So we bought it for just $201,300. Spent quite a lot on doing the place up, but we've transformed it into a really nice family home, and that I'm hoping that the new people who moved into are going to absolutely love. And you've got in there, you've got the figures, you've got drawings of what it looked like before and what it looked like afterwards, and you'll be able to see exactly what we did to the place. And personally, I think this is one of the best flips that we've done so far. So hopefully you'll be interested in taking a look through that. And then as you go through, you'll find the listing, so the photos for when it was put on market and the description for it. And then we get a little bit further on, and we've got another project we did in Norwich, and this was done just over a year ago, and it's 26 Doman Road. And Doman Road is in a little area called Brackendale, so it's not far out from the city centre. And it was a 3-bedroom house with quite a small garden. Unfortunately, the lady who lived there, she just passed away, but it appeared when you walked into the property to have quite a bit of movement, and the place was going all over the place. But what we did is we had a chat with a local structural engineer, and we dug out some inspection pits, some holes around the property so you could see what's going on. And all it was actually there was just a leak in the drainage. And by fixing the leak, levelling the floors, we're pretty sure the property is going nowhere, because when you looked at the reports and everything else around there, there wasn't any real major issues there. So we fixed all that, put it all back together, and turned a property that we bought for, I think, 210,000, and then we sold it for 345,000. So it was a fantastic project to work on the numbers side of it. But at the end of the day, it was a property that has a real wow factor in it. It's close to the city centre, it's got off-road parking, and actually it's going to be a really nice place, or well, it is a really nice place for someone to live. So you've got those figures. Then finally we have 72A Carnarvon Road, and here we've just included a selection of photos rather than all the numbers and everything else that stacks up with it. But 72 and 72A Carnarvon Road were 2 properties that were listed together online. One was at the front and one was behind it. But the problem was they didn't have planning to be used separately. And they also lacked separate utility supply, so you couldn't sell one property without the other. And because of what they'd done to it, they made it completely unmortgageable. So we stepped in, took over the property, and the rear property, which you've got the photos of, we turned from effectively 150 square metres, that's roughly 1,650 square feet. We turned that into a 6-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms. 2 of those were en suites, had a huge open plan kitchen. And you'll notice in the pictures, it's got this really kind of trendy retro artwork that we put in there. And the reason we've got the artwork in there is the place used to be a milk delivery and milk float servicing centre. So there's a huge void under the property. But we really wanted to kind of keep that bit of character that it's got, and it's got all this timber going on, and just, you know, keep with that kind of industrial wow factor of the place. And I think we've really done a really nice job on this, and it's turned absolutely gorgeous. So that goes a run through the investment pack that I would have sent to you, or we would have sent to you in the post. If you've got any other questions about possibly working with ZebraInvest, don't hesitate to pick up the phone, get in touch with us. If you'd like to go around for a property investor day, see some of the projects that we've been up to, be my guest. Otherwise, if you want to get in touch, contact details are all in the pack, and hopefully I'll be hearing from you soon. Cheers.